everybody, and welcome to another episode of Torrential Tom. I'm here for your New Year's Day forecast. So, we're going to get right into it here. Our current surface weather as of 6 p.m. Tonight, December 30th. So, you can see there's a low pressure system that is in Canada, which will be the source of some of our showers tonight, passing showers. And then if you look towards the bottom of the map, Texas, that is going to be our main player from tonight through Saturday, January 2nd. So we move New Year's Eve afternoon, and there is that low pressure I just explained or described in Texas. The eastern edge of that low pressure system will be all rain because that is the warmer sector. You go to the western side of that low pressure system and there will be ice, sleet, and snow. And as we move further in time, we will see that there's going to be a major ice storm in the central United States. So we're talking Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas. And then that's going to later move into Indiana, Illinois. So now we're at midnight New Year's Eve, and you can see that there is that pink shade there, which represents your freezing rain, your ice, and it's pretty heavy at times. And the GFS, or the American model, is actually spitting out anywhere from a half of an inch to an inch of ice in most areas, which is, well, in some areas, excuse me, which is very crippling. You could get an eighth of an inch of ice, and that's a very bad situation for power lines. Ice is very heavy on branches, power lines, anything. So you have the heavy snow in northern Texas, you have your ice, and then, like I mentioned, on the right side of this low pressure, warm sector, very heavy rain, potentially some severe weather in the southeast as well. We move into your New Year's Day afternoon, and that pink shade has now moved into Illinois, into Indiana, into northern Ohio, southern Michigan. Very heavy mixed precipitation there. And that as the low pressure now moves away from Kansas, Missouri, colder air is filtering in on the western side, and they are actually changing from mixed precipitation to snow. So they may get some accumulations on top of that ice, which could be even more dangerous. And if you look at this further, you can see the precipitation's inching closer towards our area. And ahead of everything, ahead of the rain, there is a wedge of precipitation there that is actually mixed. So as we move forward in time, this low pressure will actually move northeast. And I drew a couple lines here because there's a high pressure in the Atlantic Ocean off of the northeast coast. There's a high pressure system in the Rockies. So if you picture that as kind of a roadblock for this storm, it cannot move west, cannot move east, and it only has this pathway to the northeast through Michigan, and that will leave us in the warmer sector for the majority of this storm, which will result in rain. So again, you have your snow, your mixed precipitation in the Midwest area. And if you take a closer look, unfortunately one of my lines went through our local area, but there is that pink orange shading in northern Jersey, in northeast Pennsylvania, southeast New York. We will be starting as some sleet, only for a few hours, before the warmer air filters in and we all change to rain. So something that meteorologists use are soundings. What this is showing on the top left graph is the atmosphere from the surface all the way up to 12 kilometers in the atmosphere. This is showing the wind direction, the strength of winds from the surface to that high up in the atmosphere. It's also showing our dew point temperatures and the actual temperatures. So The area I have circled, you can find that there is a 0, there is a green number, that is your dew point temperature, red number, which is your actual air temperature. So if you find that 0, there's a blue diagonal line, you follow that up, that is your freezing point. So this is going to be the beginning of the storm when we are experiencing our sleet. So the higher you go in the atmosphere, it's very, very cold. So the actual temperature up in the atmosphere, for example, you look at the 6 kilometer area, you're at around -10 degrees. And then the higher up you go, the colder it is. So obviously any precipitation falling will be frozen. So if you look towards the bottom there in the middle of the circle, the green and red line actually go to the right of that blue line, which is your freezing point. So that frozen precipitation melts, and then those lines actually go back to the left side into the freezing area. So that melted precipitation is now freezing. It does not have any time to turn into a snowflake. That phase is done. But that water has frozen into a pellet of sleet. So that is how you get your sleet. So we move forward to midnight New Year's Day. And if you take a look at our area, we are in the green. We are now warmer temperatures above freezing. We're all rain. And just to show you quickly the sounding now, the circled area, your green line is 35 degrees. Your red line, which is our actual air temperature, is 36 degrees. So clearly from the surface all the way to about 3 kilometers up in the atmosphere, we are above freezing, which will result in all rain. Something to focus on a little later in your weekend, January 3rd, January 4th, Sunday night into Monday, a potential nor'easter. Right now it's not looking too major, but it is something to look forward to, as it could lead to a few inches of snow in our area. Question marks will be how quick will it be moving. Right now it's looking like it's going to move at a pretty brisk pace. Where will the low be located, and what will its strength be as it's passing our area? So I will have more on that a little later in the week. So a summation, New Year's Eve, temperatures highs in the low to mid 50s. Tomorrow night, New Year's Eve night, the temperatures will be dropping to the mid 20s. New Year's Day, your highs will be in the 30s. Temperatures are rising during New Year's night as that low pressure is moving up towards Michigan. We will be going into the warm sector. Our winds will be shifting from out of the south to southwest. We will see our temperatures rise to the low 50s. Our high temperatures on Saturday morning will actually be in the morning. As I mentioned, temperatures in the 50s, dropping throughout the day as that low pressure moves out into Canada. Our winds will be shifting again, and we could see our low temperatures drop into the 30s by the late evening. And then again, as I mentioned, there is that chance for that nor'easter Sunday evening. There's still a lot of question marks, but I will have more answers for you come Saturday. Everybody have a safe and happy New Year.